This is Mitch Ella, your #1 travel channel, and welcome back. Today we find ourselves in none other than New York City. And if you didn't watch our tips before you go to New York City, definitely check out that video. But today I have taken on a challenge where I'm gonna try to make it to the top 20 plus landmarks, locations in New York City on my own. I'm a little bit directionally challenged without my husband, but I'm gonna be looking and walking and maybe even biking to all of them. So stay tuned to see if I actually make it, how many steps I take, and first up is Times Square. Just a little backstory, we are staying at the Westin in Times Square, so that's why it's the first stop, but we're only here for like 2 days. Park, and so I'm just trying to get in as many things as I can see while we're in New York as possible, but I don't know how many miles it'll be walking and biking, as well as it's like 37 degrees outside and so windy, so I apologize in advance for the wind noise that we might experience together today. Sunshine, and one of the most iconic destinations in New York, I would say, Times Square. Now it definitely comes to life at night. We're going at it during the day because it was so cold last night on our way to go get pizza, but if you are in New York, you need to come down here. You need to see a Broadway show, get your picture taken next to all the neon lights. Kind of got a Vegas vibe as well. But next up, we're going to the Rockefeller Center, and let's see how long it takes us. We made it to Rockefeller Center. It is behind me, this giant building, as well as the ice skating rink. The significance of this, just like everything else in New York, has a lot of history behind it, where the most wealthiest philanthropist provided about 40,000 jobs during the Great Depression. It was like the biggest private construction job in modern history. So it's still really awesome. You can go on the skating rink. You see that in the Christmas lights for $32, and you can skate for an hour. So if you're in the mood, because it is like 32 degrees right now, you can definitely check it out. Another thing that the Rockefeller Center has to offer is the observatory deck. Now, I read a bunch of articles, and there's so many observatory decks to choose from, but my advice is that you pick one depending on the weather, depending on what you're trying to do in that day, lines, convenience, and then go from there. Instead of just seeing New York, you're actually experiencing it. Get down on the ground after you go there. But there is that new addition to their observatory deck where you can be on the beam, like the famous history picture, and experience that. It just like puts a pit in my stomach even thinking about it. But if you're into the thrills, that could be the observatory deck of your choice. Now, just around the corner is St. Patrick's Cathedral. This thing is huge. It reminds me of when we were in Scotland and Ireland. There was cathedrals everywhere, but this one, I gotta pan around for you guys. It's just incredible to witness. Oh man, let me find the sun. It is a little bit warmer in the sun, but this, just the detail behind you, I haven't been inside, but to walk past it next to all these like traditional square buildings is crazy. And it's only a couple days after St. Patty's Day, so this is the St. Patrick's, I want to say, Cathedral, like I said before, but perfect timing. I actually saw this on somebody's feed before we got here on St. Patty's Day, and it got me hyped to be here. So on to the next one. We're heading to the Grand Central Station, which we were already there yesterday, but I want to get where all the movies are filmed, get into the middle of it. Made it to Grand Central Station, or at least the exterior. You can see there's a sign behind me that says the terminal, so I did in fact make it here, but I don't even know how many movies have been filmed here, but what I do know is that over 750,000 people per day use this train station. It is the biggest in the world, so if you're trying to check this off your bucket list, just walk here, experience it, walk through the station. I'm gonna see if I can dig inside really quick to get you guys some different view of it from the exterior, but it has a presence. It definitely looks different than all the other buildings, so you'll know when you have arrived. hustle is real. There's a lot of people, and there's even a Lululemon in the distance. I'm waiting for like a bigger opening. Oh, there it is. I was like one hallway away. Okay, are you ready for this? Man, I can believe the 7:50 now. There's so many people. Okay, here it comes. Into the wind noise, but we're getting a 2-for-1 here. This is the New York Public Library. It is so incredible. I want to ask you, and let me know in the comments down below, when was the last time you went to the library, and if it looked this good, would you actually visit? But on the back side, there's actually Bryant Park, which is another almost 10 acres. So if you don't want to go all the way to Central Park, but you still want the park vibe, it's on the back side. I'm going to try to find the entrance so I can get a better view, as well as go inside the library next. Inside the library, but like a true tourist, I had expectations of coming into a giant room filled with books, and I just stopped and asked for help. And one of the attendees said this isn't actually a library where you can check things out. It's more research-based, so people can come all over the world here to do research, and you ask for a book, they bring it to you, you study there for free, and then you end up giving it back. If you're not done with your research in time, then you just come back the next day. But what an interesting system, and there's actually a free exhibit. Everything's free in here, so just to come and wander through is amazing. But if you actually wanted to get a book, you can't take it with you. Okay, for reference, we're only like a 5-minute walk away from Central Station, and then behind me is the library. I was just on the opposite side, so right behind it is Bryant Park, as you can see. And the cool thing behind me is they're actually laying down sod right now, but usually this is an ice skating rink, so it switches out. But there are tons of people just basking in the sunshine, even though it's cold, starting to warm up, having their coffee, eating, there are plenty of places to sit, take a rest while you're wandering through the city. But for me, I'm on to the next spot. We have arrived at the world's used to be tallest building, the Empire State Building. And if you've ever seen King Kong, it's the building that they climb. The crazy thing is it finished construction within 2 years, which is wild for breaking that many records. It's enormous. But also, if you want to go up to the observatory deck, tickets are about $50. I don't know the wait times, but I do know that it's mostly indoors, so if it was a terrible weather day, this would be the observatory deck for you. But a lot of people come here, but it doesn't have the view of the Empire State Building in the background, which is a different observatory deck. So I need to figure out which one that is for you guys, but just take it in. Just look at it. Madison Square Garden. The thing that I think of when I think of Madison Square Garden is comedians or any kind of entertainment people saying they've made it once they've been featured in Madison Square Garden. But the thing that it's famous for is its concave, not convex ceiling, making it so that every seat in the house has an unobstructed view. So you can catch hockey here, basketball, and comedy shows alike. But on to the next one. Welcome to Greenwich Village, or the outskirts, I should say. But these trees that are lining the street are gorgeous. I had to stop and take one of the side streets. So I just came from the Empire State Building, which is north, and I'd say like 50% of the attractions are up north, and then they're divided by the neighborhoods like Greenwich Village, Soho, and there's a couple more, but I'm a real estate gal and so is my husband. So if we would have had the opportunity to go into these sub-neighborhoods and check out the different residential spots, that would have been awesome. But right now I'm making my way south. I'm actually walking. I was debating taking a bike, but I'm walking and it's about 3 miles. So if you finish 50% of the attractions up north and then you start making your way south, maybe you might want to get a taxi instead of walking the whole way. And I'm only at Greenwich Village, so I think I still have 2 miles left. Definitely tell the difference of when you're downtown, there's giant buildings and then they start getting shorter, start seeing more residential buildings and different units. So it's definitely something you can observe if you're walking. That's why I would recommend it. But again, I am about 1.5 miles away from Ground Zero. I'm making my way to the financial district and I'll try to find some sun along the way. They have all the gear. Okay, so I've been walking. I'm almost there to Ground Zero. I'm about half a mile away, but it came up on my map that this is the building out of the Ghostbusters movie, which is crazy because we literally just watched that movie, the remake, 2 days ago. But there's like some cosplayers on the other side of that Jeep I just zoomed in on. They have the full outfits. It is wild, but something to do if you're in town and if you're a fan. An hour later and 3 miles, we made it. I just showed you Ground Zero behind me, and then we have the Trade Center, World Trade Center, and then also the 9/11 Museum is right behind me as well. You can buy the tickets online, whatever you want to experience, but I would say that it definitely gives you chills walking up to it. Would you look at it? It is so beautiful. This is the Trinity Church just outside of Wall Street. The cool thing about this, and I almost said, this building is from 1846, but actually the first one burnt down, the second one pretty much collapsed, so this is the third one. But it is just incredible, especially surrounded by all of these modern day buildings. You might recognize it from the National Treasure movie. Don't mind all the lower shots, but everything is so tall here. We made it to the, wouldn't you say, New York Stock Exchange. I just totally went blank. But also there's the Federal Hall over there, which is where George Washington was first sworn in. But this is supposed to symbolize the strongest financial institute, and it happens to be the biggest stock exchange in the world. So I think it's doing a pretty good job. Holy wind noise, I'm so sorry. But you can see the bowl behind me. I almost left the financial district without getting a picture of this, but you can see that there's lines in the front of it to get a picture and also in the back of it with its balls to get a picture too. But on to Battery Park next. Just like that, we make it to Battery Park. I might have ran a little bit. I'm running out of daylight and time. We have a dinner cruise tonight that is gonna get us closer to the Statue of Liberty because right now Battery Park is completely under construction and I can't get to the shoreline to get you guys a better shot. But I'm gonna zoom through some construction equipment just so you can say that you saw it with me and I'm at Battery Park right now. It's right there, right there. Oh man, I did a lot of running. I'm not cold anymore, guys, but I just want to get to a sign. Technically, I made it to the Brooklyn Bridge. You can see it in that clip. I zoomed in, and there's an exit sign. Brooklyn Bridge. It says it. I'm here. Okay, so this one counts. I saw it. Now I gotta take a taxi back to the hotel because we have evening plans. I'm so out of breath. Bear with me. But now I get to hail a taxi in New York. So authentic. Guys, I tried to hail 6 different cabs. One was going to New Jersey, all of them were full. So the tip, which I had thought of already, is that their light needs to be on or else there's people in them. But I finally caught one. As you can see, I hailed a cab in New York. Pretty stoked about it. But I'm on the way back to the hotel. I'm not gonna lie to you, it is a new day with a new hairstyle, same coat though. I had to make it to Central Park. I added an extra 2 miles to the 12 I walked yesterday just to get this last clip in for you, and I don't think I succeeded in my goal to get 20. I think it was closer to 15 unless you count all the neighborhoods I walked through, but the accomplishment is the infamous Central Park behind me. I think it's like 25 acres. It's where you look down from the helicopters and you see the big greenery surrounded by the concrete jungle. So iconic, I had to make it here. So for 14 miles that I walked with you, 15 plus destinations that we saw together, I think I deserve maybe an extra like, maybe an extra subscription. But I will be touring you through the West End next, which was right outside of Times Square that we stayed in this last week. That will be the next video, and don't forget to check out the packing video as well that I did before we made it to New York. But guys, this is Central Park West. Just take it in. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.